The VanderLinde gang in Red Dead Redemption 2 is a group of outlaws led by Dutch VanderLinde, living on the fringes of society in the late 19th century American frontier. Their story is one of resistance against the encroachment of modern civilization and the decline of the Wild West. Themes of loyalty, freedom, betrayal, and the inevitable passage of time pervade their narrative as they grapple with internal conflicts and external pressures from a rapidly changing world. The gang's journey is marked by a struggle to maintain their way of life against increasing odds, leading to a poignant exploration of the costs of clinging to an idealized past. I received this comment on a video asking if I could go over the similarities between the gang and the Lost Boys from Peter Pan. Believe it or not, this is a comment I have received more than once, and I was intrigued by the idea. At first glance, the narratives seem to inhabit entirely different realms, one a gritty, realistic Western video game, and the other a whimsical children's story. However, upon closer examination, these two seemingly different tales reveal profound thematic parallels. Both explore the allure of escapism, the complexities of defying societal norms, and the consequences of choosing a life unbound by conventional expectations. This video delves into the nuanced ways in which the VanderLinde gang and the Lost Boys in Peter Pan mirror each other, highlighting their shared themes of rebellion, freedom, and the inevitable confrontation with the realities of their respective worlds. If you enjoy videos like this one, please be sure to subscribe. As 99% of viewers have not done so, I appreciate all of your support. Now let's dive into the similarities between the gang and the Lost Boys. In Peter Pan, Neverland is a fantastical realm where children never age or grow up at all, symbolizing an ultimate escape from the responsibilities and realities of adulthood forever. Red Dead Redemption 2's American frontier, on the other hand, is in the same way a romanticized escape from the encroaching industrialization and civilization of the late 19th century, especially for the VanderLinde gang, which is led by Dutch, who operates outside societal norms, reminiscent of the Lost Boys' existence outside the conventional world. The Lost Boys, residing in the fantastical Neverland, live without adult supervision, embracing a perpetual childhood devoid of education, growth, and conventional attire. Their behavior, governed by whims and led by Peter Pan, lacks formal structure, epitomizing a child's dream of unbridled freedom. Conversely, the VanderLinde gang in RDR2 adopts an outlaw lifestyle, engaging in criminal activities as they lead a nomadic existence. This gang, set against the backdrop of America's industrialization, rejects modernity, adhering to a unique moral code that often sympathizes with the downtrodden. Their internal dynamics resemble a family more than a criminal organization, with complex relationships and a sense of loyalty that defies the individualistic nature of the surrounding society. Both groups, though different in their manifestations, represent a departure from societal norms, with the Lost Boys depicting an innocent, fantastical escape, and the VanderLinde gang illustrating a more realistic, gritty portrayal of the consequences and complexities of such a life. This parallel is even more evident in the gang's lifestyle, which, much like the Lost Boys, is about living a day-to-day adventure, freed from societal constraints. This is exemplified in numerous in-game missions, such as the daring train robbery in Chapter 1 or the brazen bank heist in Saint-Denis, which highlight their defiance of legal norms. The gang's nomadic existence, moving from one temporary camp to another, further illustrates their physical and metaphorical distance from settled society. Their rejection of the era's industrialization, favoring a simpler, albeit more lawless life, is a recurring theme in Dutch's speeches, where he often romanticizes the freedom of the old ways. The gang's daring train robberies and bank heists in RDR2 are acts of rebellion against societal laws, mirroring the Lost Boys' battles against Captain Hook, symbolizing their resistance to adult authority and the conventional world. Furthermore, the moral ambiguity of the gang, who, despite their criminality, often demonstrate sympathy and generosity, contrasts with the black and white morality of the society that labels them as outlaws. This complexity is paralleled in Peter Pan, where the Lost Boys, though perceived as mischievous from an adult perspective, embody a sense of adventure, freedom, and righteousness in their own world. Both narratives, through these elements, explore themes of resistance against societal norms and a longing for a life of freedom and autonomy, albeit manifested differently in their respective universes. Peter Pan and Dutch, as leaders in Peter Pan and Red Dead Redemption 2, exhibit decision-making styles that, despite their different worlds, bear remarkable similarities. Both characters are defined by a staunch resistance to change and growth. Peter's determination to maintain perpetual childhood in Neverland parallels Dutch's efforts to preserve the traditional free-spirited outlaw lifestyle in the face of a modernizing society. This resistance is rooted in their idealistic visions. They are protective leaders, with Peter shielding the Lost Boys from the realities of adulthood and Dutch attempting to safeguard his gang from the encroaching forces of law and order. This protective nature, while initially unifying, eventually leads both groups into conflict and danger. Adding to their complex characters is their charismatic influence. Peter's adventurous spirit and charm captivate the Lost Boys, keeping them enthralled with life in Neverland. Similarly, Dutch's charisma and strong conviction in his ideals inspire deep loyalty among his gang members, even as his plans become increasingly fraught with peril. These leadership traits, while admirable in certain aspects, also set the stage for the challenges and conflicts both groups face, driven by their leaders' reluctance to embrace change and the evolving world around them. The endings of Red Dead Redemption 2 and Peter Pan share poignant similarities, despite their vastly different settings and characters. In RDR2, the VanderLinde gang story culminates in disintegration and tragedy, underscoring the inevitable collapse of their way of life in the face of an advancing modern world. Key characters meet their demise or are fundamentally changed, symbolizing the end of an era and the futility of their resistance against societal changes. Similarly, the conclusion of Peter Pan sees the Lost Boys facing the reality of growing up. While some chose to leave Neverland with Wendy to experience the adult world, Peter Pan remains behind, clinging to his eternal childhood. Mirroring Dutch, who never once strayed from his outlaw ways, leading to his inevitable death. This ending reflects a bittersweet acknowledgement of the inevitability of change and growth. Both stories thus converge on the theme of the inevitable passage of time and the end of an era, the Wild West in RDR2 and the endless adventures of childhood in Peter Pan. The characters are forced to confront the consequences of their choices, whether it's the gang's dissolution and the personal transformations of its members, or the Lost Boys' decision to leave Neverland, signifying a loss of innocence and the acceptance of life's impermanence. The concept of freedom in both narratives is complex and illusory. The Lost Boys' freedom in Neverland is a form of entrapment in perpetual childhood. Similarly, the VanderLinde gang's perceived freedom is marred by constant flight from the law and internal conflicts, illustrating that their way of life is less about freedom and more about running from the inevitable. This illusion of freedom is a critical aspect of both stories, highlighting the paradox that true freedom often comes with its own set of constraints and limitations. Red Dead Redemption 2 and Peter Pan share a profound thematic connection in their exploration of escapism, the refusal to grow up, and the tragic consequences of these choices. Through the lens of these narratives, we see the dangers of clinging to a past that cannot be reclaimed and the inevitable need to confront change. The stories of the VanderLinde gang and the Lost Boys, though set in different worlds, mirror each other in their poignant portrayal of the human desire to escape reality and the harsh truths that follow when that desire is indulged to its fullest. Let me know what you think, and if I missed anything, please let me know in the comments. I can't wait to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, please check out the ones on your screen now. Thanks for watching.